Kia ora, g'day, welcome back. Here in this video this morning, it is Sunday the 8th. I've received this video literally just this morning, Sunday the 8th? Yeah, Sunday the 8th. Training done this morning, been cracking on with some other work, but I've received this email. So I've taken a break from doing the editing of that reaction, which I've done this morning, to take some time to try to answer this question as well as I can. So I'm not going to give the details. I'm redacting this email as I read through it right now for obvious reasons with regards to this individual who's, one, taken the time and trusted me to send me an email. So I'm not going to just broadcast their name and details all over. Two, they're preparing for selection, the Australian selection. So person says, "G'day Joe." They offer their name. They're in Australia. And they've mentioned that they've just started watching my videos. So I've just started watching your videos, and what you've been posting has really resonated with me. So I'm speaking to this individual right now, but also speaking to anybody that might decide to take some time here to have a listen. The subject heading of this, what I should have mentioned, the subject heading of this email that this person has sent is SASR selection, setback, and advice. So that's just to give some context. Sorry for not mentioning that earlier. They then give a little bit about themselves, which I won't read. They did mention and speak about, for further context, this person has done selection before, the Australian selection. They failed the 3.2 kilometre run, that is a tough Lincoln time frame and standard to meet with regards to the 3.2 webbing run in your uniform, boots, webbing, and carrying your rifle. Person says while they were conducting the infill to base camp, they got into their own head thinking that he wasn't going to pass the retest and even the subsequent activities. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens on selection. You can just check out the Search for Warriors 2-part documentary to get a bit of a taste and an understanding of some of what's involved over those 21 days. Person then says basically they convinced themselves that they weren't ready and they withdrew at their own request. They have been given the opportunity to reapply. I'm not going to say when, but they've been given the opportunity to reapply. So the other video that I did where people have said, oh, you can't reapply, the instructors say this and you can't reapply, blah, blah, blah. I've shared experiences, lived experience and observations with people. I've just received literally an email this morning where the person has confirmed they did withdraw at their own request and they have been given permission to reapply after a certain amount of time. So I've always shared that anyway with regards to what I've done in the other video. People can either take it or leave it. People can either go, no, can't do it. I was told this. And so they were adamant, blah, blah, blah. I was like, what I would say to that is here's more evidence. I've got black and white emailed evidence right here sitting in my own box. I've mentioned the reasons. The units are pretty smart. The people in that are there. They know, and it's not uncommon for badged operators who have failed their first attempt get in on their second time round, some on their third time round, some even their fourth time round. So anyway, that's that. This person has mentioned that a lot of self-doubt has crept up on them, particularly recent times. So I'm redacting this as I go, trying to think of, so I don't just read out everything. It has been a dream of this person ever since they were young. But they're unsure of how they should go about reapplying or even when they should reapply. Okay, so I'll try and address that piece. Unsure about how I should go about reapplying. You go through the process and you get that application in. Like if that's where you want to be, if that's what you want to do, go through that process because it's not a quick tick and flick, or at least it wasn't during my time, and I don't believe it is still to this day. So that process, those wheels are going to take some time to tune. So start getting onto that process sooner rather than later, if that's where you want to be. And that's where I assume you want to be based on what I'm reading so far. So it's been a dream of yours. Okay, cool. The drive to serve in SASR has never waned. Okay, so again, hence why I say application process, start getting those wheels in motion. Once wheels are in motion and momentum builds, it's a bit, not easier, No, yeah, it is. It's a bit easier to then just continue with that. It's like, okay, paperwork is in now. Okay, now it's been approved. All right, I've got to keep going now because I don't want to be withdrawing again before I even get to the start line. I hope that makes sense. It's never waned, but the confidence in myself, so in this person, to perform at that level at this very time is lacking. And I don't want to be sitting on the fence of self-doubt until I realize it's too late and I've lost my chance. Ooh, I like that. I don't want to be sitting on the fence of self-doubt until I realize it's too late and I've lost my chance. Okay, so my advice to that, you said the drivers, like I've shared this in other videos, the answers are typically already here and here within ourselves. Like we've typically already got the answers. As I read this, I'm thinking to myself, this person's already got the answers. They know what they want to do. They just need to execute. You just need to put it into action and do what it is that you feel here and get after it. So my comments to that part there about the lacking in confidence and the concern to perform at that level at this very time. Hey, you're not alone. Every single person applying for selection has got a concern or worry about their ability to perform at that level. I had that same concern. Even though I had completed selection in New Zealand and gone through the cycle, I had done like a lot of the stuff. Now, I didn't know how the Australian system and how things were going to run and roll and all that sort of stuff. But even though I had done all of that, yes, I felt like I had an advantage on anybody else in Australia at that time going through the selection because I didn't know everybody. And so some of those, as it turned out, were on their second or I think second. I don't think I met anybody going through their third selection at that time. But I felt like I had a significant advantage. It didn't matter for me. Like I was still concerned, I was still worried. Would I be able to perform to the standards expected and required and demanded of the Australian Special Air Service Regiment? Everybody's going to have those. I don't care where they come from. If you're going through the selection again to get into a Special Forces unit, you're going to have some doubts and concerns. So you're not alone in that aspect. Sergeants, corporals, experienced veteran soldiers will all have concerns about their ability to perform at the standard required for the Special Air Service because the standard is very high. And, I'll be honest, I never felt like I was good enough. I felt like I needed to constantly try to improve. I felt like I had met the minimum standards, to get that tick in the box to progress and then to continually progress. But the reason why I say that is that there were always people that were just miles ahead of me, just way, way better than me. And so that's why I share that. But did I feel like I had the ability to learn and to then get better and to start progressively, incrementally improving my skill and ability? 100%. I backed myself. Right or wrong, I backed myself. Not because I was being egotistical or anything like that, but because I really wanted to serve in that unit. There was nothing else I wanted to do in the army. I just wanted to be there and serve in the unit. So that's the piece that I'll mention on there. Not wanting to be sitting on the fence. That's why I say take action. Put in that paperwork, get the wheels turning and burning, and start. Like put it in there and get after it. Make sure you're doing all your prep, your physical prep that you need to do. So if you failed your 3.2, hey, get the boots on, get the webbing on, get those iron blinking forget they like torsion bars. If you've got one of those, or you'll have plenty of those, the PTIs will help you out with those, and start pounding the pavement. Get out there, make sure that you can run that thing within the time frame required. Okay, so and if there's anything else, put the time in, address those weaknesses, and get after it. You don't want to be waiting and potentially like that, sitting on the fence of self-doubt and realize it's too late and that you've lost your chance. You don't want that to happen. You've already identified it. So that's what I mean. You've got the answers. Just crack the whip, get after it. Find a reason, find a way, not an excuse. So I'm not saying that you're looking for excuses. You are genuinely seeking for some advice and or some tips from me. I don't know if what I'm saying is going to resonate, land, or help in any way, but I sincerely hope it does. Okay, I hope it just resonates with you in the sense that I think you've already got the answers. You know what it is that you want to do. You're looking for some tips on how to deal with self-doubts and confidence. I've just shared with you, everybody's got them. Okay, I still had them coming from NZ. I had them while I was in Australia. Even though I got through selection and now I was onto the cycle, I still had some self-doubt in and around, man, because you're still being scrutinised. You're still being assessed. Are you suitable to serve within the Special Air Service? Getting through the 21-day selection or getting through the 10-day selection here in NZ is not, here's your beret and your sky blue belt and the wing dagger and off you go. No, you got another 8 to 10 months or 12 months or however long the cycle is these days, worth of course after course after course, where every day, daily renewable contract, you are being assessed as to whether or not you are suitable to be able to serve and work in that unit. And you can get the tap on the shoulder at any time to go, yeah, you're done. So, yeah, when people speak about the 2-2 SAS selection, it's 6 months. It's like, no doubt, I've never done it, but no doubt it is a hard selection. I have absolutely no doubt, and just some of the stuff that I've seen from other 2-2 operators talking about it. At the end of the 6 months, they still then, well, they'll get their beret, and then I believe they're still then on a probation, the beret and their call belt. They're still on probation for a period of time. No difference in New Zealand and Australia, other than the selection pieces, the selection piece that's referred to as selection is shorter. So 10 days testing NZ with a 5 to 6 day pre-selection, and 21 days testing in Australia with a barrier testing, if that's what it's still called today. Whether that's 3 days or something like that prior to, or a day and a half or whatever it is. Then you go into that, then you're onto your cycle, which is anywhere from 8 to 12 months, possibly longer, where you do the course after course, like what 2-2 go into with their jungle phase and their parachuting and their CQB and demolitions and combat survival, escape and evasion, resistance to interrogation, etc., etc., etc. So you go through all of that stuff on what New Zealand and Australia refer to as the cycle. And just like in 2-2, you can get a tap on the shoulder anytime during their 6-month selection. You can get a tap on the shoulder anytime during the 8-month to 12-month cycle. Okay, so and be gone. And you can get all the way to the door and still not get badged at the 11th hour. So all of that stuff is still part of it. So why do I share that for you and the person that sent this email? You're going to constantly still have those concerns. Am I doing well enough? Okay. Is the feedback that I'm getting, am I taking that on board from the staff, and am I then being seen to apply it? Am I applying it because I know that that's what I need to do, and I need to do that because I've been given that in order to get better so that I can meet the standard? Or am I getting all that feedback, I'm not applying it, they can see that, so yeah, come on over here. Sorry, thank you, well done for making it so far, but time for you to go. So you're not alone. Next part you've got here, in your experience, have you dealt with something like this before? And if so, what were some things that you did in order to get back on track? Yeah, hopefully I've sort of touched on that sort of stuff. Everybody's going through it. Me specifically, probably the closest thing that I can think of, aside from those things that I mentioned, which were very relevant for me, like what would they think of this Kiwi guy? Would that go against me? This guy didn't go back to New Zealand, so he didn't finish the job. That's what I thought that the Australians would think about me. Like the one NZ SAS group at the time, as it was referred to now, 1st New Zealand Special Air Service Regiment, they didn't slam the door on me. They just blinking gave me a slap around the ears, essentially, and said, go sort yourself out 6 months, then come back here. And I chose to not do that. So if anything, I wasn't doing myself any favours by then going to Australia with that unfinished business, for want of a better term. So you can 100%, yep, that played on my mind. 100% it played on my mind. I was going to be over there. They would be looking at me. They're thinking, this guy didn't go back. He could have gone back, finished the cycle, get badged, then come over here, do the selection and look to come here. He didn't. Why didn't he do that? They may have had those questions, but hopefully and thankfully, possibly, I must have done enough and shown enough that I genuinely wanted to be there, that I genuinely wanted to serve, and I must have done enough to get through each of the courses that we needed to get through on the cycle, in order to then ultimately receive, the Sandy Bearer and the Winged Dagger. So I have been through that. What did I do? I needed to get back on the horse. I needed to reapply and go again. Did I say I needed to. I didn't need to, right? I could have gone back to complete the cycle had I not been so prideful, basically. Yes, I was hurt, but had I not been so prideful, I could have gone back. So I chose to go do it all again, and I think that probably played a part in maybe their assessment of me as well. The whole assessment, both in NZ and in Australia. I've shared it before. I believe, my opinion, my experience, it's very fair and reasonable. Nobody was out to get me. Nobody was, in Australia I'm talking about, nobody was there to try to make it extra hard on me because I was a Kiwi. None of that happened. Instructors might have had a little bit of a dig and a laugh, and I've shared about the national anthem one. That was a bloody good one. Rotherham, that was a good one that you got me to do on selection. But other than that, yeah, a couple other things on the selection, but I never felt targeted, even though I was wondering, oh man, what are they going to think of me, this Kiwi guy, etc., etc. Am I going to be tasked or asked to do more? Never happened. I wasn't asked to do any more than anybody else. So it's very fair and very reasonable. And it's necessary, I'll put it that way. So what were some of the things that you did in order to get back on track? Yeah, I just needed to go test myself again, fill out the application, go over to Australia, get accepted to get onto the course, earn my way onto the course through the barrier test, then earn everything else through the selection, the 21 days, and then through the cycle. And fortunately, during that time that I was there, I was able to do that. But not just me, so did everybody else that I was on selection and cycle with, those that passed. So, yeah, he puts at the end, I realise this is a very personal question, but since you've been there and done that, I'm curious on what your take is on this. Keep hammering out the videos, mate. Loving them. Cheers. And signs off with his name. Thank you very much for your email. I hope that my ramble here for the last 17 minutes can help you in some way. I hope that you connect the dots with regards to what you feel here and here, and maybe with some small part of what I've just tried to shoot from the hip and talk to here whilst I've been speaking in regards to your email, and that you can use that to help with your decision making. Now I'll share this. Whether it resonates in the form of you make a decision to reapply and start that process, train the house down, prepare yourself physically and mentally, and then get after it, or whether it causes you to make a decision to go, actually, I don't feel it here and I don't feel it here. I perhaps my drive and desire to want to serve there isn't as strong as what I thought it was, so actually I'm not going to reapply. Then that's great as well. Whichever path you choose to go down, as long as you make a decision. That's what I'd say. Make a decision, be real clear about it, be honest about it. I've shared this in other videos. Don't choose to go on selection because, and I know there's lots of different thoughts out there, many people out there, and I've heard this from people that have failed selection. I'm not aligned with it at all. So let me just get out what I want to say first. Don't go on selection if you just want to go see how far you can get. If you just want to go see if you can get further than where you got the first time. Don't do it. Like, you're wasting everybody's time. That's just my honest thoughts. Again, I've mentioned I've never met anybody that's gone through and done those things. I put it on the other video, or one of the other videos, can't remember the name of it. But I've never met anybody that's gone, oh yeah, I'll give that a try. And then they've managed to pass, and then they've been accepted the cycle, and they've gone, oh yeah, I'll give that a go too. And then they've gone through cycle, and they're about to get badged again. Yeah, oh true, yeah, I'll see what it's like in the squadron. I'll see how it goes, see if I like it. I've never met anybody like that, right? I would be shocked, personally, I would be shocked and surprised if there is somebody. I could be wrong. Somebody might come out, start their own YouTube channel and go, actually, I did that. I have heard of people that didn't know about the SAS before they put in their selection or put in their papers for selection, and then they heard about it. Oh, who are those guys? And they've seen them with the long hair, Gucci kit and equipment, seem to, just have a presence about them. Who are those guys? And then they've said, oh, that's the thing. And oh, yeah, that sounds like a bit of me. I've heard of and know of people like that, but I've never heard of or met anybody that's just gone, oh, I'll just go see what it's like, and see how I go. Like, don't do that. That's just my opinion. You waste your time and you waste the unit's time if you go into selection like that. Now, the other part, there are people that I know of that have given it a try that do adamantly profess that anybody or that everybody at some stage in their military career, and again, this is usually coming from people that have failed selection, okay, that profess and claim, man, I think everybody should give selection a go at some stage in their career. I personally, right or wrong, I think that's a load of crap. Like, don't do it for the reasons that I just said. You waste your time and you waste the unit's time. There's a lot of time, effort, energy, money that goes into those selection courses. And if you're rocking up there just to waste it, just to, your heart's not really in it, is what I'm getting at, don't do it. Just, you already know it's not, we already know it's not for everybody. Just, if that's not you, if you don't think about it night and day, and if you don't think about the fact that you want to serve there and do that job, like it's an afterthought, then don't do it. That's my advice. So anyway, I genuinely hope that this helps you, the person that sent me this email. And if there is somebody else that happens to come across here and see this video, and it helps with your decision to either pull the trigger and go all in and or not, then I hope it helps you as well. So yeah, that's about all I've got, man. Apologies if it's not enough, but yeah, it is what it is, eh? So anyway, thank you for your time and email. Thank you to anybody out there that may come across this, that may spend any time listening to and or has spent any time here on my channel. There are a number of you that do that day in, day out, and I'm extremely grateful for it. Thank you very much. As always, to anybody going through any challenges, difficulties, dark times, hard times, I just encourage you, as always, to keep turning up, to keep staying in the fight, to know that you are not alone. Like, everybody is going through stuff. Everybody is going through stuff. People that you know closest to you, people, your friends, people that seem like they've got everything sussed out, even they have got some challenges and things that they're going through. They may not be as heavy or as difficult as yours or mine or somebody else's that we know right now, but they are nonetheless important. So just keep turning up, keep staying in the fight. There is a light at the end of that long, dark, lonely, miserable tunnel. The sun will shine again, and better days are closer than you think. So keep at it. Remember, go always a little further. Remember, who dares wins and who cares wins. And until the next video, milestone, or YouTube post, or emails with questions, a big mana wave coming from me to you, filled with my aroha, respect, appreciation, and gratitude for you all.